review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of the upcoming book, Mastering Quantum Creation. No other than Miss Diana Divine.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel, on your show.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Diana. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yes, I am galactic shaman, soul guide, and multidimensional channeler. And I've been on a journey of spiritual awakening and working with quantum field for over 25 years. So this book is actually a culmination of a lot of my work with my clients, with my workshops, with my own personal journey. So I'm sharing, it's called Mastering Quantum Creation, Awaken the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. And it's invitation, an initiation into the journey of reclaiming your power, to remember who you are, to expand your field. So I talk a lot about sacred geometry, a lot about the voice, and specifically multidimensional language, or what I call source language or light language, and then how to step into your mastery. So it's really diving deeper into quantum physics and understanding these concepts, but also in a relatable way, how I've applied them with my clients. With, I have a formula that I inputted in there for creating and manifesting what we want to create in this reality. Whether it's, a house or a project or relationship, there are ingredients of how to make, bake the cake, so to speak. And so that's part of this book as well. So it's a beautiful journey that's touching many, many aspects in 300 pages. So it's full of exercises, meditations, and I have actually an access to my website where there's actually audio and video meditations that people can do. So I like the interactive aspect. There's a book, but that's how you apply the tool is what's most important for me. How do you integrate it? How you question yourself? How you contemplate? Because I was like, there's so many books, and I know these days people have hard time reading. But I think when you address each chapter as its own lesson, and you can kind of dive deeper, that's really how I build this book.
Yes, indeed. I'm reclaiming my power, Miss Diana, and Diana, I should say. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. Can you explain the term quantum creation in your own words for readers who may be new to these concepts?
That's a great question. So, what is quantum? So, quantum is invisible force behind everything. It is the energy on the subatomical, smallest particle you can imagine. And it's not something that we can see with our eyes. So, quantum has actually started becoming more and more popular words, just like AI. Everyone is finally realizing, oh, AI is here and it's happening. Quantum is another one of those words because quantum physics has been around, for a century. But I think finally we're starting to hear how these concepts intertwine together. Quantum creation is essentially an understanding of how this quantum field of information that's around us, of infinite possibility, operates, and how we can co-create with it, because we are actually infinite creators. We are gods and goddesses walking the earth. And it's time for us to finally step out of this routines that we're in, 9 to 5 jobs. We're taking the same journey every day to work. We're kind of in this roller coaster of, or hamster wheel, so to speak, of our daily life. This book is really about, okay, let me pause, let me question, let me understand what's beyond the unseen. And maybe there's ways I can create my reality where things manifest for me and create for me as I interact with this field. So creation, everything is creation, right? This reality we're in, this planets, the galaxies, the universe, it was all created by intention and thought of the energy of the source. And we are not separate from it. Sometimes we tend to think through religions that there is God that's separate from us and we don't have the same capacity to do what God can do. And what I'm telling you, you actually a creator yourself. You are as much of infinite creator as, you know, what we talked about in religions. So it's really looking outside of usual paradigm of reality. But I use a lot of quantum physics and understanding from quantum physics of how reality operates so that people can actually look at the science. So I mentioned a lot of science and a lot of experimentation of our own that we've done, and especially about the energy field. So about the body itself. How do we operate here? Is a sacred geometry. So there's a whole focus, a chapter on sacred geometry, but also our field, a toroidal field, the energy that's in our body and the blocks in our body that sometimes not letting us to fully be optimized, meaning we're in the survival game. And I think it's time for us to thrive. I think we in this moment in time, we're stepping into a new world. You know, AI is coming in, there's a lot of technology coming, but what's important is to learn the technology of the body. It's important to learn the technology of us, who we really are, right? So I'm inviting you to really remember, who are you? Like, are you just this body, or maybe you're a soul that chose this experience to be in this body, and maybe you had other lifetimes on Earth and off Earth in other galactic systems. And so this is an invitation to reclaim and remember all of those pieces of ourselves, because if we just move forward with AI without really having a sense of who we are, it's like all the doomsday movies that we see where AI takes over. And I feel like this book more than ever is so needed as we are on this precipice of figuring out what's the timeline for us, what's that new reality we all co-creating together. So it's a spiritual journey, but it's very scientifically based, and so I like to bridge those things together.
Very well said, Miss Diana. Beautifully articulated. How does this book differ from other books of manifestation, quantum physics, and spiritual awakening?
That's a great question. And I think every book has its place. And my book is just weaves all that information through my lenses, through my story of awakening and my understanding of how to work with these pieces that are most important, because there's so many things out there. And so I bring it all into one place because there's so many books. So it's me taking all that information of 25 years of my own journey and weaving it into a story. Actually, the forward to my book is by Tony Ghazi. He actually is a channeler, pretty international popular channeler. And we first sit down and have a information coming through from higher beings on creation and our existence here. So I'm bringing a lot of channeled information to this book so that it's my channeled information, but others as well. So there is different perspectives and galactic perspectives. So I teach others about different galactic systems and different qualities of these different beings, my understanding of the story of humanity and how we are here. And like I said, we've been scientifical information as well as relevant to us in this moment, because there's so much and it's more kind of like what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And like I said, there's always a meditation and activation at the end of each chapter. So, and I think that's important. It's like special codes. Even the cover itself, the symbol on the cover is actually something that I developed with a friend of mine who's a coder, light language coder. So there's a lot of codes in the symbol in the geometry itself. So the intention of the book is to activate the consciousness, activates curiosity, and see where maybe some parts of it are in resonance and wake up some of your inner ability. Because I really believe everyone already is incredible master of creation. And it's just a matter of tapping into that potential.
Indeed. Interesting. Miss Diana. So let's talk about the core teaching and philosophy. You talk about reclaiming cosmic power. What do you believe has caused people to lose touch with this power in the first place?
Ooh, what a good question. I think it's been evolutionary process, but I think we had all this power in ancient civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria. And as we moved forward as humanity, we went through dark ages. And as religion came in and crusaders and many of historical events, we as humanity lost our memories. We lost ancient knowledge because we had it all. We knew how to move rocks with our thoughts. We knew how to sing to, the water and activate it. All of that was available for us, 12,000 years ago. So where did it all go? And I think a lot of it was just through suppression, through religion and suppression. And but now things are changing, and we re-remembering the ancient knowledge and re-remembering the cosmic knowledge. And a lot of us actually, if you believe in reincarnation, which I do, and I talk a little bit about in the book, I believe a lot of us are coming from that era, from the time of Lemuria Atlantis, and re-remembering. Like a lot of things I mention in the book is my own memories of those times, and how the pyramids, as you see them on the cover of the book, were important technology for working with consciousness. So it's a matter of us just being open and curious to see what comes in. Is it absolutely necessary to remember everything? I don't think we every person needs to, but I think at least to pique curiosity, and then more just to apply the wisdom and the knowledge to your current day. Because at the end of the day, I really feel it's about how you live your day. How do you show up? How do you pay attention to your breath? How you pay attention to your energy? What intentions you set? How do you co-create with the reality? And I think the ancient knowledge is just a foundation because they already knew how to do it, and now we just reclaiming that back.
Yes, indeed. Reclaim your power, people. How do you blend spirituality, quantum physics, and practical manifestation techniques in the book?
So I have a quantum creation formula that is in the last chapter, in chapter 9, which goes through each ingredient of how to manifest or how to create. So if people read that book, they learn those ingredients, and as well as I have a formula of how to apply it each day. So I talk about the 4 Ds, which is a framework of how, on a daily basis, to put the intention out there, and eventually work with the quantum field for it to manifest. So there's very specific formulas that I offer in the book of exactly how to do that. And I know everyone has probably their own techniques. Again, I base it off how I work with the quantum field, and what I felt is most important. And one of the ingredients that I do want to mention is surrender. Surrender is very important ingredient, which many don't conceptualize. But essentially, surrender or trust means that whatever we create ultimately is not up to us. We can set all the parameters of it, but it's important to remember that we co-created with the field, with the source, with the energy, with all everything that's invisible, but it's all there. And since there are infinite potentialities, we have to also let this dance to occur together. So you have to surrender and detach and allow that specific intention to manifest. And I go more deeper into all the aspects of it.
Indeed. So, Miss Diana, what is your short-term and long-term goals as an author?
My short book related or in
Yes,
general?
as an author.
As an author, well, this
Yes.
is my first book, so I'm very excited, and I'm self-publishing. And
Congratulations.
yeah, it's a big undertaker. And so yeah, for me, it's to become bestseller when this book releases on June 17th. So I'm this book is available for pre-order, and for me it's just to get this book into as many people's hands as possible, whether in book ebook or paperback or hardcover, because it's going to be available in all the formats. And then get people on my website too, so they continue co-creating and listening to meditations, so as many people as possible. Long term, I think there's gonna be another book coming, Daniel, actually. I already as I was been writing this book, I realized there's a second book. That book is gonna be more on relationships, because it's my husband has been intricate, beautiful partner for me during my own spiritual journey. So this is gonna be a book about divine union and twin flame relationships. It's gonna be more on the relationship level, and I know that's going to be very interesting for people, because I've been on this journey for almost a decade together, and we created a lot. All, even the word quantum, I have to tell you, I didn't know anything quantum. I'm not scientific, but but he taught me all of it. So I think it's important to be in a, especially these days, in the relationships that, not the old paradigm way, but new paradigm way, where we create things together. So long term, continuous book to be out in the world and having as many people get activated, even if they don't open the book and they just love the cover. There's also a companion oracle deck that someone can get, that I have available through my website. So yes, it's, I think for me, the intention is wherever it has to go, it's like love rippling through the world, and it's a gift for each person to activate another person. And that's my big intention, for as many people to get the bug, to get activated, to get inspired, and yeah, continue with that.
Yes, indeed. Continue and good luck to your goals, Miss Diana. And what would be your advice for those people out there want to write their own book too?
Ah. I never thought I'm going to be an author. So the advice is get organized. I think there's just so much someone can do, and start with small goals. So you have to set a schedule and dedicate X amount of hours a week to the book, and because I think a lot of people start and then never finish, and get really inspired and at the same time determined. Like, I put some deadlines for myself. Like, I knew I want this book out in the world by the summer. And so, and I knew the manuscript had to be done by January, so I can do all the designing and all the other mini revisions that you have to go through. When you self-publish, it's very different, because you really in charge of all aspects of it. So you have to be really engaged. You have to find your own editor, you have to find your own designer, so you can't just outsource. You have to live with the manuscript and be very engaged. And I actually like that. I think some people prefer the traditional publishing route. I realized for me this was the easiest, quickest way, but also being very patient with yourself, because we can get very perfectionist about every little thing. And I even, till last minute torture my designer. Oh, this thing is off. This is not the way I want it to look. I think we need to learn to also step back and be okay with knowing that it's as perfect as it can be, and you can still release it even if it's not like 100%. If it's 98, it's great as well. But it's a journey. I think it's a journey of dedication, and everything. I feel very much aligned with mastering quantum creation, because dedication and devotion to your journey, to yourself, to your creation is the energy. So if you're not giving it energy, nothing's going to get created, and you have to give it energy. You have to feed it with your intention and attention, and it's like a baby, right? So I really see book publishing and creation as gestation, birthing process. So you birth in a baby, and that takes a lot of dedication and love, and so that's been the journey for me, and I loved it.
Yes, and marketing is the hardest one.
And marketing is part of it always.
Yes, you need to market your book so that people will buy it.
And getting on other people's podcasts. I have my own podcast, but getting on other people's podcast and like with you, Danielle, and yes, being open to talk about your creation is important as well. Yes, of course.
Indeed. So, if you have a podcast, Miss Diana, what will be your short-term and long-term goals in podcasting?
So my podcast is called Soul Communication, and I'm on episode 50. So I've been doing this for about a year and a half, and also talking about many similar topics, spirituality, channeling, and more, and the quantum, and having beautiful, yeah, just I just like the book, dedication, like showing up, having your calendar filled with interviews, making sure edits happen, releasing. So it's not like one book that you just release. It's like consistently releasing and continue building audience. And again, being patient because it might not go as big as some other podcasts, but you still know that for me it's like this. If I can have one person listen or watch or read my book and feel the shift in them, right? Or feel some inspiration, or I don't know, something in their heart opened up. For me, that is a win. That
Yes.
means we've really done our job. And since you're a podcaster, it's a lot of work on that part, and it comes with a lot of love. So if we could inspire others and shift others into the change, the better change, that is amazing, and that's all we can strive for.
Indeed, and congratulations. Let's empower podcaster each other. So before we wrap up our discussion, Miss, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast because I have a lot of podcast people. Because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, book 101 review, and for sure a fifth season, comedy 101 in second season, food 101 in its fifth season too, geography 101 and love letters are in third season, and my baby podcast mental health 101, a movie 101 review and music 101 in its fourth season, Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Diana, what do you hope readers feel or do differently after finishing this book?
I think for me, the difference is in how you go through your day. If you can wake up in the morning and realize you more than just a number, you actually have choices in how you live your reality. And if you can wake up and apply some of my methodologies and my frameworks to your day, that is incredible. That means you already really opening your eyes to the truth of everything that's around you, and you questioning. So for me, it's like question, question, question. And if at the end of the day you read the book and you start questioning your reality and choosing things differently than you have before, that's a I think a huge win for me as well.
Indeed. Again, thank you so much for sharing your book to the world. Thank you for sharing your podcast to the world. And we are hoping for more and more and more empowering books like this and more empowering episodes for the podcast itself. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your podcast as well as your upcoming Mastering Quantum Creation?
My podcast called Soul Communication, and it's on YouTube at Diana M. Divine. And you can also find it on Spotify. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. And how about your book, Miss Diana? Please do support. This coming book is when it will publish.
It's publishing on June 17th. It's already available on ebook Kindle version, and in a couple of days, it's going to be also available in paperback and hardback. So, yeah, June 17th, it's available for pre order. So, I'm gearing all the support for pre orders.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Diana Divine because if you support her, as I said, more and more and more empowering books and episodes to come. Miss Diana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.